Hello, friends. It is Wednesday, which means it is live backstage with me, Cindy Rowe from Cindy Rowe Marketing. And I always have a fantastic guest that I can't wait for you guys to meet. So today I have Ashley Jackson. Hello, how are you?
Hi, I'm good. How are you, Cindy?
I'm wonderful. We were just chatting a little bit about how her lighting is much better than mine, and I'm quite jealous. But my lighting broke today or sometime lately, and I just realized it. So anyway,
You still look beautiful.
Ashley. Oh, thank you. We'll stay away. Ashley and I have never actually met in person. We're in a couple of Facebook groups together, and I know that she's worked with a few of my friends, so it was an honor to have her here. Ashley, what is it that your business is? Tell everybody.
So my business is called Ashley Jackson Beauty, and here we offer multiple services that encompass beauty. So everything except hair. A lot of people think we do hair here, but we really focus on eyebrows, eyelashes, and aesthetics. So I have Dr. Jen Yeager here she actually has a location in Beloit. She offers her services like tox and injectables. And then an esthetician, Stacy, she does body waxing and facials. And then myself, I do permanent makeup, lamination, eyebrow tinting, henna, and lash lift and tints as well.
Awesome. So how long have you been in business?
So I actually opened doors to Ashley Jackson Beauty in downtown Freeport this past August, but I've been doing all of these services for about 3 years. And prior to that, I was a hairstylist for 14 years. And so I was actually just getting a little bit burnt out, to be honest, of being behind the chair, doing hair. And so I was looking for a transition. And so, I'm pretty new for the most part in the eyebrow realm, of like that 3 to approaching 4 years, but I've been in the beauty industry for over 15, 16 years. So
that's awesome.
Yeah.
What attracted you to the beauty industry? Has it always been something, that you've been good at personally and you're like, yeah, I'm going to do this for a profession? Or
it's kind of interesting because I remember being really young and begging my one sister to just always let me do her hair. I mean, I would cry until she gave in. Please just let me do your hair. And then, I always growing up then never thought I would be taken seriously doing that. So I went to a local college and started getting my associate's degree. And then I transferred down to Illinois State University where I was going to attend for business. And I went through one semester there, absolutely hated it. I loved the school, loved the life, right? But I didn't like the college setting. And so I'd already had a lease down there for a year and I decided I'm just going to check out this beauty school. And so that's kind of how it all started for me.
That's great. I love that you kind of listen to your intuition a little bit, right? And I think that's a little bit of an edge that us women business owners have. we tend to have that intuition, and we're more apt to go for it when we actually take the time to listen to it.
That's the key. You have to stop and listen and really, tune out all the other noise.
Yeah. So, okay, your brick and mortar business has been open for how long?
Since August of last year.
Sweet. So you're coming up on a year. What made you decide to branch out and become this beauty center in Freeport?
Well, it kind of goes back to being in beauty school. I had written down, I believe there's a lot of power in saying words, but also in writing words. And I had written down that one day I wanted to own my own beauty salon. And so, I mean, if you really consider how long ago that was, I mean, it was many, many, many years ago, And so So I was working at a local salon here in Freeport where I was still kind of doing hair, but transitioning to like doing the brow services. And I just decided that, you know, if I'm going to do this, I just need to let go of the hair and just jump in faith to doing just the brows. And I became so busy that I was in a very small room. I was renting a small space. They had their own receptionist there who was wonderful, but I wanted things done a certain way, my way. And so it just came to that point where I was like, the only way I'm going to have it to be my way is to just open my own space. So I, you know, will never forget the day I was driving downtown Freeport and I came across this space that I'm in and there was a sign that said for lease. And so I kept driving, but then I thought, gosh, you know, I need to turn around and get that number. And I called and here we are. So, you know, again, just acting on those reactions, right?
Yeah, yeah. I was actually having a conversation last night with a fellow business owner, and she said she didn't realize how much she wanted a brick and mortar until she was told no, that it was already taken by, you know, she saw an opportunity and she like acted on it, and it was already taken. And she's like, I was crushed. And she's like, I didn't realize how important it was for me and how ready I was until I heard that no. So she's like, and I'm like, I love that. Like, it sucks because it wasn't, but I'm like, then that space wasn't for you, but it answered a question that
Yes.
you were thinking of, you know, and it's scary to take that leap, but man, when you do, I mean, I've watched you blossom this year, you know, with the services and your dream coming to fruition. So it's pretty awesome. I'm excited.
It is awesome. Thank you.
So beauty industry is rough. You've had a rough couple of years with COVID. What other kind of hurdles have you had to overcome in this type of industry?
You know, if to reference back to COVID, though, I will say that I was just getting started in my transition of letting hair go. Like, for sure, it was no longer my safety net, right? And just doing the brows and lashes. And COVID actually, this whole time period has been, the first year though specifically was my best year, because that's all we were seeing with the mask on was lashes and brows, right? And so I really used that to my advantage in a way. And you know, we still did get closed down for about 3 months, I think. So during that time, I just utilized it to like build my website. You know, I had all the time in the world at that point. So I built my own website and worked on some other business moves, essentially. And yeah, so that was, you know, a challenge for many small businesses. For me, it wasn't. It was such an opportunity, you know. But I do think all challenges are opportunities in their own way, depending on how you look at it, right? So, you know, just one of the biggest challenges for me was hiring my first employee. I did it based off of like I need someone to be a receptionist, right? Like I was almost in desperate mode. And so I maybe cut corners in the actual interview process. I may have cut corners in making it look very presentable for them, right? I mean, they still took the job and everything, but you know, being a leader, hiring, doing all of those things to make sure my employee is solid, that's been a really big challenge for me. So I've learned a lot about myself and just developing leadership skills to make sure that, you know, I'm growing in that way too.
I love that you just share that, your vulnerability of like that learning curve of being the leader versus just fulfilling a need. You know, I mean, I think as small business owners, we're handling so many different things, you know, the plates are spinning and it's crazy. And that, you know, once you decide that you needed that position filled, there was still more to it, right? It wasn't just like, yeah, I'm going to bring this girl on or this person on and that's it. You know, now it's like, wow, I have an employee. I have to make sure that, you know, they're your business just changes.
Yes.
You know,
yes.
And building that culture and all those things that, you know, we've had to deal with, you know, as employees ourselves. Now that's on your shoulders. But
well, and that's so funny because I feel like I've worked a lot of jobs, but so few of them where I've had an actual boss, because I've always just kind of done my own thing. Like when even working in a salon, I mean, I worked for a couple different salons who had, you know, managers, owners, and everything above me, but I still like did my own thing behind the chair, right? So to actually then put myself in the mindset of having an employee, I'm like, I don't even know what it's like to be an employee, really. So, I mean, even that like might sound super strange to some people, but there were so many things I didn't think of from their perspective as being an employee that I just didn't have even that, you know?
Right. Yeah. I mean, that's a totally different side. So I've been an employee, so I know what I don't like, and that's why I started my own business.
Yes.
Which we're similar in that sense. We want it run our way. This is how we want to do it, which is great.
Yes.
So have you had help along the way, or like maybe other people in the beauty industry that, you know, have allowed you to grow and use these ideas and move forward, or maybe a mentor or something that's really helped you or been pivotal in your success?
Yes. I have a business coach, Caitlyn Gray. That is what has changed the entire game for me. So when I met Caitlyn actually through one of our groups, I listened to one of her podcasts first, and she was talking about something, and it is a thought that I've always had, and I'm like, I never thought anybody would think that same thing. And I immediately was like, okay, I think I need to call her. And so we had our sort of intro discussion of, you know, what does this look like for you? You know, sort of an interview, if you will. And then I hired her on. And so I hired her, I want to say it was around April or May of last year. And it's a 6-month session that I have that's what she offered at that time. So around April or May, I had hired her for a business coach, and she asked me, what do I hope to accomplish in these next 6 months? And I just said, by the end of the year, I would love to be in my own space, you know, have my own, because I was still at the salon in my room. And so you fast forward. I know.
I just got goosebumps.
So that was my goal. And I thought that was a very sort of attainable goal, you know, without too much pressure. But June came around. So what is that? Like a month and a half later, June comes around, and I come across my space here. And I was like, it's not even the end of the year. And she was helping me open my own space within a month and a half. And what she did was, you know, I years ago wrote down, I want to open my own studio. Right. But then when the opportunity was actually here, it was a little scary and a little like surreal. And so what she did was she prompted curiosity for me. She prompted thought-provoking, you know, situations for me. She really made me say things out loud and just be confident and just literally be so confident that this is what I've always wanted. So why would you not do this? You know?
Yeah.
And so then our 6 months ended. I mean, there's a lot that could go into that with Caitlyn in those 6 months, but our 6 months ended, and I was like, I'm not ready to let you go yet. She is a piece of my business that I hired her on for another 6 months. So we're in our second session right now, and she's just amazing.
I love that. So She was actually a guest on my show probably a year ago. I don't know.
Okay.
So she's pretty cool and awesome. And so I actually had hired a business coach during COVID. Okay. And because I knew, like, I was stuck, and I think a lot of people like felt stuck. Like And it wasn't, I think it was more of a mental block than anything. And then finally I woke up one day and I'm like, I don't want to come out of this. And I was still busy. I only lost one client during that time. And I kind of saw it coming, I guess.
Sure.
But so my workload really didn't change, but it was that mental space. And I was like, I don't want to come out of this pandemic that, we're still dealing with on a small scale now, but like I have really thought it was going to be a 6-monther. But I'm like, I want to come out of it and be like, I just wasted 6 months. Like and I will tell you, there is something about hiring a coach to really help you think already what you're thinking, but in a different way, and they put it in a different perspective. So I love that you said that that really helped you. And I will tell you, my business coach, before I even hired her, I met her at a networking event years prior, and she pushed my envelope, just like probably how Caitlyn helped push yours, because we have a time frame in mind. So yours was like, by the end of the year, I'm going to do this. And mine was like, yeah, in like a few years, I want to do a women's retreat. And she was like, why? Like, why a few years? I was like, well, because like, I don't know, like that just seems like obtainable. And she's like, why not this year? I was like, what? Like, what? And guess what? Her and I did it. We did it within 6 months, and it was a smashing. It was like one of the biggest, coolest things that I've ever done. And it had nothing to do with my marketing career or business or anything like that. It was just something I had on my heart that I wanted to do.
Yes.
And like, so that I knew when I was stuck, like I had to hire her, because she pushed me to do something that in like 6 months that I was going to do in a few years. So
isn't that amazing though? And that's the crazy ability that they have, because to have that conversation with a friend or family member, it just doesn't, it's the same. Be like, oh yeah, well, good luck with that. Or let me know how that turns out, or send me an invite, or they're okay with you opening it or having it in a couple of years, right? Yeah. But our coaches have this crazy innate ability to just make us like see that we're worthy of whatever we want to do, and we can do it,
Yeah, that's awesome. So your success, like, what is it that like has been a real key point over the last few years that you were like, yes, I'm on the path to success. I am doing this. Like, what was that thing?
I don't know if there was any one thing, but I will say just the idea of being able to, in my whole beauty career, really, of even doing hair, what I always liked was the control, which always for me was like a negative word, but it's just the reality of who I am. I like to control things. And so I always seemingly got to control like my hours, Mm-hmm. Now, if you fast forward to where I am and having my own business, I'm controlling so many things that, my hours down to my days, my hours, when, who I'm having in here, what products do I have, how do I market? Like everything is just in my control. And so that is very like freeing, mm-hmm. To just do what you love whenever you want to do it. But the thing that is tough with that is when, for example, if you have a friend or someone that asks you like, hey, do you want to go do something? I don't know. I'm a total introvert. So I can expel all my energy behind the chair and I can control all that's around me. But I don't have the time or the energy to like do anything else. There's so many, like you said, business things behind the scenes that take place when I'm not behind my chair. Right. So just controlling, but I'm controlling a lot, and so it's just, but it's all good because this is what I've built, right? This is what I wanted. This was my dream. And you're just basically living out your dream. So
That's great. So what's next on the horizon? Where do you take what you've grown, so far? Where are you going next?
Well, see, there's so many things in the works. It's hard to say if I should, release
You don't
them
have
all.
to give out any secrets, but like maybe
But,
in code, like dreaming.
a little sprinkling of what's happening is, we do carry a certain number of product lines here, but very minimal. I don't have a lot of shelves because I only like to carry the best. I don't like to just have shelves to have shelves full of stuff. So something very exciting in the real near future is I'm adding 2 additional products to my shelves, and they're just only the best products. So I'm really excited about that. Sometimes I have clients literally just standing in front of the shelves, like, tell me what to buy. So people want to spend money, on things that make them feel good. And, I want to provide them with those products. So I'm really excited about that. Then I've got some other bigger things happening that I haven't quite announced yet, but I'm really excited about what that looks like. Growth is what it is in whole. So
that's awesome. I love that you're pushing it and pushing the envelope a little bit. So when you transition from hair to the brows and the lashes, there was probably an education factor in there. Can you kind of describe like what that is? And is that ongoing, that you have to continue like to learn new techniques, or I don't know.
yeah.
You're speaking from somebody whose bangs are clearly in their eyes right now.
Are you growing them out?
Yes, I'm getting married in July, and that is the whole goal of growing my slow growing hair out by the time July comes.
Perfect. Well, extensions are always an option to give you more length and volume. So if you get tired of the bangs, you can get some extensions. So
training. So like, did you have a huge learning curve or training sessions that you had to go through?
So because I already was certified in the beauty industry as a hairstylist, I was also certified as a cosmetology educator as well. So those are 2 certificates that I actually continue to keep up with. So those require continuing education hours to keep up with them. And whether you do those online or in person somewhere, but also for my services I offer now, the permanent makeup, I did have a training in Schaumburg. Actually, it was a 3-day training, which is not enough time to learn how to do permanent makeup. I will tell you that. If you're interested in getting a training, make sure it is not 3 days. Here's the thing though, with mine, why it was different. It was 3 days in person, and then we left with these latex sheets that we had to practice on, and it sort of emulated real skin. And so I practiced on those sheets and sent them in, and then they were approved after probably about 3 months. And she said, okay, now you can take some live models. And then I did 4 live models, and then I was certified. So it actually was about a 6-month process before I actually became certified doing the permanent makeup. The lash lift and tints and the henna and the brow tint, those are also all certifications that I took. Can you do them with, can anybody do them? I mean, it's scary, but yes. And some people don't find the value in education or being certified. For me, I just think it's another sort of stamp of, accreditation and just professionalism. And so I don't need to take any additional certifications to keep up on what I'm already certified in here. However, just like with marketing or any other business out there, if you want to stay on top and you want to stay ahead, you should always continue your education. So I'm always taking a class here and there. And again, why I can't go out all the time, because I'm taking classes, right, furthering my education, because it only helps better, my services.
So like, you're dealing with people's faces. So if somebody's touching my face and doing some kind of permanent thing to it, I would hope that they would have education and training, being certified. Like that's scary. That's scary.
It's a lot. It's a big commitment. And so for that reason, I offer complimentary consultations for permanent makeup so that you can actually come in. I think it's important for you to meet me and feel comfortable. And I feel like it's super important for me to meet you, because you may come in wanting something that is just not my style. Maybe it's not your style. Maybe maybe you don't even need permanent makeup. And that's one thing I will say, that I started off only doing permanent makeup when I was in that transition phase. And I quickly realized that it's not for everybody. Whether you have a health condition, a skin condition, there's a list of contradictions that would make you not a good candidate for it. But sometimes people came in with just crazy amounts of brows and just needed a simple wax, right? And so that's what's allowed me to really build my service list, is understanding my clients' needs, not chasing the dollar because the permanent makeup is the highest price ticket on my menu, right? And so if everyone that came in said they wanted it, I could easily make a quick dollar, or I could give them what they really needed. And that just builds trust. And I think that's what my clients appreciate about me, is that I'm always super honest about what they should do or what they need or what they, options they have. And there's even times where people will sit in my chair and just say, I'm like, well, you could do this or you could do this. It depends on your commitment level and all the factors. And they look at me and they're like, can you just tell me what to do? And I'm like, I can't tell you what to do, because then you're going to be mad at me if you didn't do the other thing. But in all honesty, I just like my clients to know that there's options and, educate them in that way. I think it's super important to educate your clients. And that, again, just builds that trust and that relationship.
Yeah, I could not agree with you more. And I feel like maybe that's kind of where our vibe through the connections that we've had resonate, because that's how I built my business as well. Like, I might not be a good fit for you, and that's why that initial meeting is so important. And maybe you're looking for all the bells and whistles, and I'm just willing to start, like, let's start here,
Yeah.
And I wasn't after the dollar. I would rather build that relationship, build that trust. And when you see that, hey, she knows what she's doing, then you're like, all right, I think I do need this, and I think I do need this, instead of, some of the other consultants would just be like, you need this, 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 and this, and this is what it's going to cost you every month.
Yep.
That's not necessary for everybody. And I appreciate that. And I appreciate the education, because I've also done that in my business as well. Letting people know, like, hey, if you want to do it on your own, I'm going to give you tips and tricks and stuff and make it easier, make your life easier.
Yes.
For you, you're like giving them options and letting them know, hey, it's not a one and done deal. Like this, you can do this, or hey, maybe you don't even, like you said, maybe you don't even need permanent makeup. Like, let's just try this and see if you're happy with this result. I love that, because that, yes, you're right, it builds that trust. You build your business with integrity, and that's where we're going to get further. And yes, we're going to last a little bit longer. I've avoided this question, and not because I don't care, Cindy. Thank you so much for asking it. But I'm sure Ashley's going to get to it, because at this point of the conversation, I'm going to turn over to you to tell everybody where they can find you, how they can connect with you. So, Cindy, thank you for being patient and waiting. But Ashley, I'm going to turn it over to you. Tell us how to find you, what you're all about, all that fun stuff.
Perfect. So you can find me on social media. I am on TikTok and Snap and Instagram as Ashley Jackson Beauty. On Facebook, you'll find me as Ashley Jackson Brows. And then I'm located in Freeport, Illinois, and my address is 6 East Stevenson Street. I'm right on the main strip, and I'm located next to some of the dopest little shops around. So right in the center of all of that. You can call or text our business line. I'll give that number to, it's 847-310-7170. You can send an email to Ashley Jackson Beauty. I think that encompasses it all.
So remind everybody what kind of services that your shop provides, or your business provides.
So we provide almost all brow services, such as lamination, brow waxing, brow tinting, henna, and permanent makeup, lash lift and tint services. And we do facials here, full body waxing, and then toxin injectables.
Awesome. So what's lamination? I don't know what
So
that is.
lamination is essentially, it's the same principle as a perm, where we're kind of redirecting your brow hairs. And so for anyone that maybe has hair that lays like a little flat or is a little out of control, very unruly, this would be a good service to help sort of smooth and redirect that hair. It lasts about 6 to 8 weeks. It's pretty amazing.
I've never heard of that. That's interesting. And one more question, just because I'm going to be nosy, and because I don't know a lot about this, and we're past the 30 minutes, but it'll be real quick.
Okay.
Is the permanent makeup, is that like tattooing the eyebrows on, or what is that?
So it is technically considered a tattoo simply because of the fact that we're putting ink into your skin. However, we only go through the first layer, which makes it semi-permanent. And over time, it just slowly gets lighter and lighter and lighter. So even getting permanent makeup is still a low maintenance service, because when it gets lighter in that sort of 1 to 3 year range, you do need to come back in and get what's called a color boost and refresh that color. But in the meantime, it is considered a tattoo. So if you ever have an MRI or donate blood, you need to let them know that you have a tattoo. So.
Yeah, all right. Well, see, we're learning so much more than just about business, people. This is cool. Well, we are at the end of the show. I have enjoyed it immensely. I wish we could talk some more. I think we'll have to grab a drink or something. I don't drink coffee, but I can drink tea or any other liquid. We should connect further. But thank you so much. And thank everybody for tuning in. We will see you next Wednesday. Bye-bye.
Bye.